सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So from Bhagwan Shiv himself or Bhagwan, all this teaching has come to us through Shankaracharya and other acharyas. So our pranam to all the acharyas. Because of that, because of them, we are able to enjoy this this teaching or this learning from our side. So pranam to all the acharyas, right? Now Bhagwan, stuti for Bhagwan Shri Ram. लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये. श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये. So, Dhanyavad, welcome. We'll do this journey together for next 4 months, basically 12 sessions. And I'll communicate through email. So as I said, this is going to be 1 hour exact on Mondays. And if any change, I'll let you know. But it will work like this, right? This before we get into this, before we start anything, I just want to bring one episode. We'll read it first. Of course, that will come when we go to Ayodhya Kand. But there is a reason. I'll tell you why we are going to read that, right? So let me read one episode first before doing anything. And you might wonder why, but I'll tell you why. Before we go to Mahatma, Itihas, everything, we'll just read one episode. This episode is where Bhagwan Ram is ready to be coronated next day as a Ayodhya, Raja of Ayodhya or Abhishek, Pattabhishekam, Bhagwan ka everything is getting ready, right? And then we know Kekai just put the condition, and then Dashrath ji is not able to even handle the situation. So Bhagwan, they send Sumantra ji, call Ram, and Bhagwan is coming, and Bhagwan is here in front of Kekai. And looking at Dashrath ji is lying on the floor. And here's one shlok from Ayodhya Kand. When we reach there, we'll read detail, but I'm just reading one shlok. And Bhagwan is saying to Kekai Mata. And before he says to Kekai Mata that there is a shlok. I'm not reading the shlok. And Bhagwan says, Ki Mata, you could have told me this. Why you had to tell Dashrath ji, Pitaji? I would have accepted. We have given Raj to Bharat. Why did you even tell me? That means you don't trust me. That means you don't believe that I can handle this. Oh, I mean, look at that. He's saying you could have told me. We would have given to Bharat. And then he's saying a shlok here. Evamastu gamishyami vanam vastu maham tvitaha jatadhiro dhiro ragyah pratigyam anupalayan. And he's saying, Mata, and she has put the condition. He says, it is going to be like this. Don't worry. I'm going to do the Agya Palan or the promise Dashrath ji has made, and I'm going to fulfill that. So, and then see, I'm going to take the Valkal Vastra, which is the Vanvasi Vastra, the people who the dress the tribal people or Vanvasi people wear, and I'll go. So you just don't worry. And then he says, I'm surprised why Pitaji is also so upset. He could have told me. The Bharat should be. And then he is saying, before leaving the house, he says that right now, there is a shlok, Gachantu Chevami Tum Duta Shigra Varje Harve Bharatam Matu Kuladvedya Napashasanat. He's saying, send someone the speedy horses, get Bharat here before I leave. Look at that. This is Ram. That's why I'm saying I am reading this shlok because the journey we are going to complete next 4 months. And we have already gone many times. Ramayana, nothing new for everyone. But this is the character we are talking about. So we should keep in the mind when we read Ramayana and when we listen to Ramayana Katha that we are reading or we are listening to a Katha of a character who's so deep, who's so serene that he's saying, what is the problem here? I am going to Vanvas. How many of other can do that, right? And that's the character. So either I'll just read that shlok just to, before we get into the further detail of Mahatma of Ramayana, right? So we have to keep this in mind. Now let's talk about the what is Ramayana, and maybe this session will go into Mahatma and the history of Ramayana. And again, all these kand like Bal Kand, and same thing in Bhagavad Gita when we say there is a chapter Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga. There, Bhagwan, when he was talking to Arjun, he was not telling, oh, this is a chapter here. Same thing when Valmiki ji wrote this, he never said that, oh, this is a Bal Kand is over. He is just writing the entire one story. Later on, our acharyas, good for, like, they just name those chapters, like, oh, he is a Balkand, he is a Jhakand. So let's not worry too much about, because many times people, when we read Ramayana, and people are very concerned, oh, this Kand is over, or this Kand is over. There is no, this is one yatra. One yatra. Valmiki, it is one yatra. So let's not worry too much about which Kand and all those things, but we'll go. This is a journey, right? Yatra. So that is, so it's all these chapters came later. Initially, it is just one. Actually, it is one yatra, one story, right? So Ramayana, we know, it is the word Ram, Ayan. Ayan means yatra and Ramayana. So actually, I tell when I teach kids, especially in the modern time, it is Sita Ram Ayan. It is Sita Ramayana. It is not Bhagavan, just Bhagavan Ram's yatra. It is both. Sita ji also came, and we know the story. We'll see when it comes to why she came, like Lakshmi ji came in this form. So it is Sita Ramayana. It's journey of both, and then there are other people in this is journey, which we'll see all those characters how they join. So for in this, when he, as I said, the read the shlok, Bhagwan told Kaikeyi before leaving for Vanvas that please make sure you help Bharat. Now he's not anything. He's telling Kaikeyi, please make sure you help Bharat, and so that Bharat sahi dharma sanatana. So Bharat can maintain Sanatan Dharma. The word is used by Bhagwan Ram in Ramayana. Dharma Sanatana. So help Bharat to maintain Sanatan Dharma. And now I am leaving. So this entire book, Ramayana, is all about Sanatan Dharma. It is not just a story. People think, yeah, of course, there are stories and all those things, but it is not just, it is about Sanatan Dharma. And it is a Itihas Pustak. Itihas, by definition, we all know that iti ha as. There are three words, right? Iti ha as. Iti means thus. Ha means actually indeed. Ha as means what happened. So whatever is happened is written here. Whatever is written by Valmiki, because Valmiki ji was there that time. So it is not, he is the witness of all that. So exactly whatever it has happened, that is Itihas. That's why we call Ramayana is our Itihas book. It is not just a story. People say it is. But look at that. When Valmiki ji wrote, it was Itihas. Because an Itihas means there is a timeline. But modern time, what we these days listen to Ramayana, it has become Katha. So now it is Katha. When it was written that time it was Itihas, because Valmiki ji was, for us it is Itihas, there was a timeline. But when now we read, we listen to this, that's why it is very popular term, it is called Ram Katha. And it is not reading Ramayana, Itihas, very Ram Katha. So there is a difference between Itihas and Katha. Itihas means something timeline. Katha means there is an emotion here. So Katha means there is a bhav. So that's the reason this has continued for generations to generations, because there is an emotion, and there are acharyas, and we'll see how it evolved. We all know that how it evolved, but we'll see some of those. So that is what it is, because of the bhav, it is katha. And because of the bhav, we are still enjoying. Look at in city, we are sitting in America in this century 2026 and enjoying the same katha. People have been enjoying for so many years, like thousands of years, because it is now katha. And katha means narration. Katha means there is an emotion. Katha means whose katha it is. For example, Bhagwan Ram. There is a connection between me and Bhagwan Ram. That's the reason I'm enjoying this katha. Otherwise, I cannot. We cannot read Itihas the way we read Ramayana. It is an Itihas book, but for now, it is Ram Katha. So when we say Ramayana, is Ramji's journey also and Ramji's Katha also. So for us, it is both Katha and Itihas. Itihas because we belong to that land Bharat, which is our ancestors' land, which has a history of our ancestors. So that is Itihas, and Bhagwan Ram was one of those. But for us now, it is a Katha. And Katha has emotion, and emotion is not only just saying something. There is a teaching also, and we'll see. That's what we are reading Ramayana, because it is not reading for the sake of just seeing what happened. So Itihas has four things: place where things happen, period when it happened, principles, the values that time it happened, and the people part of it. So here, place is of course Bharat. This happened in Bharat because this was, we know this Bharat was big Bharat, but that time whatever current Bharat you can say. Then period was Treta. This happened in Treta Yug. After Satyug, Treta came, and then Dwapar, and now we are in Kali Yug. So it happened in Treta. The principles used that time, and there is only, there are many things. We go over that. There were characters, but one principle which we can say Ramayana stand for, it is dharma. And that's the reason we see all that Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. Ram is an embodiment of dharma. And we'll talk about dharma. When we say dharma, it is not some Hindu dharma or other dharma we are talking about. This is very low level definition of dharma. We go through Ramayana, we'll know exactly. So dharma is the essence, the principle. And of course, then dharma is a kind of abstract term. If I ask someone what is dharma, it's very difficult to define. So we have the attribute of dharma. So for example, satya. Satya, I know. I can practice satya. I can understand satya. And then that's why our Acharya says dharma has attributes. And that is so Ramayana, that time satya was prevailing. And there are compassion, karuna was prevailing. We'll see as we move forward. So again, this is a Ram's journey. So people, place, period, principles. Principles is like, again, all like, that's why we say Bhagwan is Maryada Purushottam, as his epitome of the personalities, or we can say the character or conduct. Ram, everything he represents, Ram, Sita, Lakshman, whatever character, Hanumanji in Ramayana, every character stands for a value. And that's the principles of that time. So when we read Katha, we have to read in between the lines. It is not just a Ram Leela happening. There are value. Everyone represents. Shabari represents some value. Vibhishan represents something. Mandodari represents something. All this. So we will go through that. That's the purpose of doing this. And whenever we read Ramayana, we should read between the line. And then last one is people. Of course, Ram is Ram, Sita, all these Bhagwan Ram, Sita, Hanumanji, all people. So that's like 4 P's of Itihas or anything. And now that becomes part of our Katha. So as we move forward, we'll slowly get into more detail of those. So now let's see, like, why, because anything we read in our principle, our Hindu Shastra, there is a very nice, which is every literature has that. We call it Upsamhar, the essence. But here in our tradition, always at the end of any Shastra, there is a Phal Shruti. What is going to, Phal Shruti means what is the result of this? Whatever you're hearing, the Shruti. So they write at the end, what is the Phal Shruti? So we'll see today, like, what is the Phal Shruti of Ramayana. We, of course, we listen, we'll enjoy, but there is always a Phal Shruti. So we'll go see at the end. But before Phal Shruti, there is a background of Ramayana, we can say. So so we'll read few, and we'll come to those later on. But right now we are reading the Mahatma. So there is a in the beginning of, I mean, whatever book you have, typically it is suggested we take the book from Gita Press. Gorakhpur has done a wonderful job of publishing these things. So you can take from Gita Press Gorakhpur, or otherwise there are some, I mean, I have not seen any better than Gita Press Gorakhpur. So Gita Press Gorakhpur, I refer to that. And then you don't have to worry now, right now, if you don't have, but later on. So this is from the background, what I'm saying, why this Gita, or we can say in simple terms, that's what happens when we read not Gita, but Ramayana, right? So on Balkand, and we'll come to that later, but I'm just reading for a reason, like what's the background of this Ramayana. So there is a character in our Shastra, Naradji, right? And Naradji appears anytime, and there is something neat appear, and how, that's all Bhagwan hi jante, like we don't know, but he appears. So here Vishwamitra Valmiki ji is sitting somewhere doing the sadhana, and then Narad ji comes. This is the beginning of Ramayana. So Narad ji comes, and then Valmiki ji looks at Narad ji, and why Narad ji comes in all our Shastra or Puran we read, he comes. How, where, why he comes, that Bhagwan only knows, right? But when he comes, there is something comes out. Good. In fact, I'll just very quickly give one interesting example of Naradji. I have been, there is a mosque in Pittsburgh. They call me many times for a talk. So one time I mean many times I have gone there. So I was during Ramadan, they called sometime like interfaith. So I was giving the talk about something on Hindu thoughts and other than. And after my talk, there was a young boy I thought he wanted to talk to me. So I look at him, he said, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Okay." He said, "I have been listening to many Hindu I watched some program on YouTube, Ramayana and other Hindu thing. And he said, I'm born and raised here. I'm a Muslim boy." I said, "Okay." He said, "You also referred to something I was talking about, Narad." He said, "I'm very fascinated by their character. And can you tell more about Narad?" And then I talked to him. The reason because I could see that I mean, you can read other faith books. They are not allowed to introduce character and withdraw and introduce everywhere. Like there is fixed. The book is done. Here he says this character is available everywhere, and then he's like a wild card. You can use him anywhere. And I said that is what the interesting thing. Our rishis has made some things available to us that so here Naradji has come. So Valmiki ji, and that's why it's very interesting. He was very fascinated. He said, "I like this character Narad, right? He's available all the time to devotees." I said, "Yeah, that's what." So look at that. All our acharyas, they wrote. Even Valmiki ji, I'm sure, he would have written, but he himself is saying, one day, like I was sitting and then Naraji came. And then the shlok comes that Valmiki ji has a question for Naraji. He says, "Charitreण चको युक्तः सर्वभूतेषु को हितः विद्वानः कक समर्थश्च कश्चेत एक प्रियदर्शनः." And he is saying, who's one character Naradji? Because Naradji knows everything. He goes around like he knows the entire. So who's one character? Who's intelligent also, who's good in conduct, like Sadachari, whose darshan is like very fascinating and it's very joyful. Who's that person we want to have his darshan also? So can you tell me? So Naradji says, "Yeah, there is a person." And then Naradji introduces that person. Ikshvaku vancha prabhavo Ramo nama jane shrutah niyatatma mahaviryo jutimana dhritimana vashi. He says there is a one person, Ikshvaku vanch. He's right now there. He is a descendant of Ishvaku, and his name is Ram. People know him by Ram. And he is a great character. He's Kantiman, like he's that glow, the abha around him. He's Palwan, Dharyavan. He's very like patient or perseverance he has. And he has control all over his senses. So he said, "Okay, you tell me about." So Naradji gives the entire katha to Valmiki ji. Uh, and he says about Ram. And now, only thing what he's listening and just grasping, right? What? So there is another, like the continuation. Mein, the shlok Narad ji says very nicely about this character Ram. He says, सर्वदा भिगतः सद्भिः समुद्र एव सिन्धुभिः आर्य समर सर्व समश्चैव सदैव प्रियदर्शनः. He's saying, like the rivers, they run to merge into ocean. All the rivers, that rivers destination is ocean. They run. They are as if you see river is running where to merge into the ocean. So same thing he's saying, that is the attraction of Ram, that's character. The devotees, they want to merge into him. And that character is Ram. So Naraji is giving all the tribute. There is a bhajan of Meera, right? मीरा सागर में सरिता समाने लगी दुख लाखों सहे मुख से गोविंद कहे मीरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी. So there is a line, Meera, as if sagar में सरिता समाने लगी, as if rivers is merging into the ocean. Meera is merging into Krishna. That's what he's saying, and that's Ram. So then he told this story. So that's where the first time Valmiki ji got the story of now why he has written Ramayana. We'll come to that later on. But that's the background of Ramayana. But the word he has used here in that, Sarva Lokpriya Sudhiratma. So Lokpriya. And Bhagwan, in fact, that one of the shlok which is famous for Bhagwan Ram, right? Ramo Vigravan Dharmo Raja Sarvasya Lokasya. Lok, and in all our Shastra, even in Bhagavad Gita, the Lok word is very popular. Bhagwan has taken avatar, same thing, not for himself, for the Lok. And Lok means the people. So all our Shastra, all our great people, their life was for the Lok Sangraha, the well-being of people. And that's the purpose of Bhagwan Ram's avatar. That's what Naraji says, that the this Ram has come from Lokpriya. That's what we say, Loka Abhiramam Rananangadhiram. Bhagwan Ram Rakshastam, Loka Abhiramam, the one who pleases people. And we all know that. We look at that Balak Ram Darshan we do in Ayodhya. Millions of people are going to see that little murti, and you look at the eyes of that murti. That's it. I mean, that's the beauty, that attraction, because Loka Abhirama. This personality pleases people. Not only the murti darshan, but the entire life, what we are going to read. And that's the reason we need to enjoy the Ramayana. And that's the learning. Once we enjoy, the learning flows. If we don't enjoy, then we'll get into discussion why it is like that. That's not the goal, right? So yeah, so we talked about itihas. Now it is become a katha. Katha has emotions, and when I read katha, this is my Ram. It is not somebody else's Ram. It is everybody, and Ram, Bhagwan Ram or Krishna is available to all of us. And that's what when we read, that's the beauty of Katha. So we will see later on then how Valmiki, but let's little bit change. So it is a Valmiki Ramayana, and there are many Ramayana. This was translated but original is Valmiki. Valmiki ji first wrote, which was told by Narad ji, and we'll see why Valmiki ji is Ramayana. So Narad ji told to Valmiki ji, and then Valmiki ji wrote. Right? We'll see that later. But there are many Ramayana, like there's a Ranganath Ramayana, there's a Bhavarth Ramayana, there's a Bhushundi Ramayana, there's a Kamba Ramayana in Tamil, in Telugu it is Ranganath Ramayana. So many acharyas, they have taken the base from Valmiki ji and written. And we'll see why. But we are not going to all those acharyas. I personally, which is the most popular, is Tulsi Ramayana. Because that is the most popular. Others are also popular. Regionally, people have written many languages, Odia and all languages. But Tulsi Ramayana is the most popular. Because Tulsidas also, one Acharya came, who also did the same thing. Base is Valmiki Ramayana. But according to, we'll talk about that. There is a reason why Tulsi Ramayana is so popular. And we'll talk about that. A very, very unique character, Tulsidas ji. So we'll keep our focus on Tulsi Ramayana, and as we go down, we'll read some part from the Valmiki Ramayana and some part from the Tulsi Ramayana. And see how beautifully Tulsi Das ji not deviating from the theme. It is all Ramayana, but and why he has done that, as we move forward, we'll see that, right? So Tulsidas ji got Valmiki ji got prerana or inspiration from Narad ji and Brahma ji. Tulsidas ji got prerana from his surroundings when he was growing. There is a story. So Tulsidas ji's prerana was his guru, which is Narhari Das ji, and there is story goes that Tulsidas ji, when he was born, his parents died at the early age. There was like a whole long story, but he was raised kind of orphan. Then one day, Narhari Das ji, Guruji saw him. He was 6, 7 year old. This boy has some personality, so he took him to ashram, and he was good in chanting and singing. So one day, as Tulsidas ji grow, he says, I feel like Bhagwan is helping me, or he said, so Guruji said, okay, then you do Bhagwan's job. And then he got inspired, like reading about Ramayana, and he doing Katha also. Before Ramcharitmanas, he started doing Katha, Valmiki Ramayana Katha. But then later on, he wrote. So he got the prerana like Valmiki ji got, right? But there is a difference between Valmiki Ramayana and Tulsi Ramayana. The reason is that Valmiki Ramayana is a kind of a script, because Valmiki ji, when he was writing as a script, because he was seeing what is happening. And as there is an example of this, like there was a movie in India called Guide, very famous Hindi movie, Guide. It was one of the time it was nominated for Oscar also, Indian movie for Oscar. So Guide was written. There was a novel written by R.K. Narayan. The title was Guide. Devanand took that novel, and then Devanand and Vijayanand, and they made a movie based on that. But if you read the novel is very dry. All the novels, most of the novels are kind of dry. Like Shakespeare's novel is very dry, but the play they used to make on Shakespeare very popular, because there is a bit difference between script and screenplay. Script is in the book. Screenplay is on the screen where the audience is watching. So the director has, directors, it's like director's a skill, and director has the freedom to present that characters on a screen where people are watching, because it is like for people. So same thing, the Guide example. The Guide that twisted, and R.K. Narayan was not happy, but twisted the story and made that character that it is one of the classics of, like it's a classic of Indian cinema, Guide. Because at the end, in the R.K. Narayan movie, that hero Raju Guide, he just was wandering here. It just there was no fixed end. But Devanand did, if you watch Guide's end, wow, what a beautiful end, right? He brought the principle of Bhagavad Gita and the Karma Yoga in that, and it's a beautiful scene like that. So all these screenplays are like that. So Tulsidas ji, what he did, and look at that now. When Valmiki ji wrote, I'll keep a watch on time because I can keep talking on, but yeah, we'll talk about Mahat. It's such beautiful things around this. So Tulsidas ji, Valmiki ji, when he wrote, that time there was no other, in fact, there was no other civilization on this earth. Yes, Hindu or Sanatan Dharma, Bharat was the only civilization. So Valmiki ji was writing just like as it is what is happening. But when Tulsidas ji, that time India was like hurt or bombarded by the external forces, which are Mughals, invaders, terrorists, and the internal. The society was so divided during Tulsidas' time. Even Tulsidas had trouble staying at one place. He was thrown out of Banaras because Banaras people say, we are Pandits. You are not Sanskrit scholar. Tulsidas was Sanskrit scholar, but not at their level. You have to belong to a tradition. And Tulsidas was kind of a free hand. So he had to run around from the place to place, and society was divided. We know there was problem in our society, Bharat, and of course there are invaders and outsiders. That time Tulsidas is writing, and then that's why Tulsidas has included many things which are lok sangraha. all our things. Tulsidas ji added another flavor to Lok Sangra. Of course, Valmiki ji has written about Ram because Bhagwan Ram's character is Lok Sangra. But Tulsidas ji has added many more things which will help the society that time. Look at that Lok Sangra square, and that is Tulsidas ji, Sant. So that's the reason Tulsidas ji, Ramcharitmanas is very unique in that sense, because Tulsidas ji had gone through very tough time and he could finish that. In fact, he was invited by Akbar and he was forced to do something, and there was a famous letter. There was a Todarmal. He came, he was Tulsidas ji's friend. He came and got the invitation from Akbar. I mean, it is written somewhere that you can be a part of Akbar's like assembly, good paid, right? And he wrote a little script and say that Tulsidas ji written that तुलसी अब का होएंगे नर के मनसबदार, हम चाकर रघुवीर के. ही इज रिटर्न हम चाकर मीन्स वी आई एम द सर्वेंट ऑफ रघुवीर. हम चाकर रघुवीर के रपट करो दरबार. यू कैन टेल एंड गो टू अकबर दैट तुलसी इज नॉट कमिंग. तुलसी अब का होएंगे नर के मनसबदार. नर मीन्स द ह्यूमन बीइंग. तुलसी डजंट डू जॉब फॉर अ ह्यूमन बीइंग नाउ. तुलसी द राम का काम करते हैं. दैट वाज तुलसीदास. दैट एंड दैट टाइम ही रोट ऑल दिस. That's why when he was right, for example, just we'll go into detail when we move forward. Shabri. In Valmiki Ramayana, we'll read. Valmiki Ramayana, Shabri is one character, a devotee, and Bhagavan Ram has just interaction with Shabri, and then Shabri got the enlightenment, and then Samadhi. That's it. Samadhi Leli Shabdi ne come. But Tulsidas ji has created such an incident around Ram is sitting, she is taking the berries and half-eaten berries, and Lakshman ji is saying, why are you doing Ramji? And he said, no, she is devotee. That he brought all those emotion, the katha. Because that time, so Samaj, society was divided. Tulsidas ji wanted to bring Shabri, is a tribal lady. Ram is eating half-eaten berries. That is right. That is called Lok Sangra. That is Sarvasya Lokasya, right? Raja. That is what Raja is. Raja is about for everyone. So that's the reason Ramcharitmanas is very popular, because Tulsidas ji took that freedom but not deviating from the theme, but added these things. So screenplay. So that's a different. I gave the example of like same example if you did Titanic. Titanic happened, but if the James Cameron not added all those flavors into Titanic, the movie would not be like nobody would watch. But he had to add some screenplay. All these directors do that. So Tulsidas ji is a very good screenplay writer. That's why he brings those scenes which is common, touching people, and that's all the Ram Leelas and all those things happening based on Tulsi Ramayana. Because so yeah, so we can go on, but just one incident. Tulsidas ji, when he was finishing Ramayana, a lot of scholar of that time they rejected. They said, no, this is you are written in some language, colloquial and all that. So there was a scholar, Madhusudan Saraswati ji, that time he was there too. He was a Vedantic scholar. Even Vedantic people, even today, he is one of the most certified Vedantic teacher. So people said, can you look at what he has written? And Madhusudan Saraswati ji looked at Tulsidas ji's script and he said, no, this is fine. What Tulsidas, and there is he wrote in the Sanskrit that Anand Kanane Tulsi Taru. This is Kashi Kanan, Anand Kanan means the place, right? Or we can say the jungle, or the we can say the park or garden, right? So Anand Khan say Tulsi Taru. In this garden, Tulsi is a tree. On that tree, and he is using the word Bhati Ram kind of the flower is sprouting. With the bhav, bhakti bhav flower is sprouting, and on that Ram Naam ka bhamra, like the bee which hover over the flower. So that is Tulsi's Ramayana. He says Tulsi's Ramayana is like that. Ram himself comes and hover over that, right? So he certified Madhu Saraswati. And then Tulsidas ji, of course, he moved forward went to Ayodhya and finished the Ramayana. So that was Tulsidas ji. That's why it is very popular, because he went through all the difficulties, and he used to say that I get inspiration from Bhagwan Shankar. That's why in Valmiki Ramayana there is no Shankar Parvati discussion. Valmiki ji, there was no Shankar Parvati. Tulsidas ji introduced, because Tulsidas ji said, I got inspiration. And that is what Sanatan Dharma is, that the devotee has freedom to interact or communicate with Bhagwan. So Tulsidas said, I got inspiration from Shivji that right also. So now Shivji and he added Shivji and Parvati's discussion. We'll see when we go to some part of Tulsidas ji. So that is Ramcharitmanas, right? So that's kind of related to the history. There was a poet in Bharat, Maithili Sharan Gupta. He was national poet of then very famous, very scholarly person. So when he read Tulsi Ramcharitmanas, he actually wrote somewhere that after reading that he says, तुलसी तुमने रख दिया है राम को शब्दों में ऐसे ढालकर, तुलसी तुमने रख दिया है राम को शब्दों में ऐसे ढालकर जैसे कोई माता जमा करती है संतान पालकर. माता बच्चों को बड़ा माता raises a kid with every step the माँ is with kid, right? So he said that जैसे जमा करती है माता कोई संतान पालकर, ऐसे तुलसी ने राम को रख दिया तुलसी रामचरितमानस में. So that was Tulsidas ji's that's our Ramcharitmanas. So we talked about, our focus will be Valmiki Ramayana and Tulsi Ramayana. I just gave brief of Tulsi Ramayana. So Tulsi Ramayana is kind of a screenplay. Valmiki Ramayana, we can say, is a script. Now next person we owe to these people, right? And next person I want to bring in a few minutes is Gita Press Gorakhpur founder. That is Jay Dayal Goenka ji and Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji. I think the entire Hindu Samaj owe to them. As we are Reni to Tulsidas ji or Valmiki, we are Renu to Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji and Jay Dayal Goenka ji. Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji did a wonderful job of printing this. And there is I have a book, Renu Gupta ji, one of our sister friend, she has written a book on Hanuman Prasad Poddar. I read through that. I had a good discussion with her. Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji, when he realized that, what about the common man? People like the people who are educated, they can get the books but how the common man will read Ramcharitmanas? Because Tulsidas ji has written in Awadhi for common men. It is not in Sanskrit. So it is, but how it will reach common people? So he said, we'll do that. Gita Press will do that. And look at that, like even today, 20 rupees, 10 rupees, you get Gita Press books available. So Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji brought a team, designed all these pictures. What pictures these days we see? It is all the brainchild of Hanuman Prasad Poddar. There is a Ramchandra ji who has Dhanush. In Valmiki Ramayana, there is no picture. It is all Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji. He brought these ideas. In fact, Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji he published Kalyan. There was a book used to come from Gita Press Gorakhpur. And then, of course, Ramcharitmanas, he had a plan. So he took Kalyan to Gandhiji, Sabarmati Ashram. He said, Gandhiji, Bapu, we are going to publish this. And Gandhiji said, this is a wonderful idea. We should do that, right? And Gandhiji told him like 3 things. Gandhiji said, first thing, Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji ko Bhaiji, he used to call Bhaiji. Bhaiji, don't have any ad in Kalyan, because it is for Kalyan. It is for well-being, welfare of people. So don't make it commercial, no advertisement. So even today, Kalyan has no advertisement. And Bhaiji said, yes, we'll have that. The second, he said, then don't criticize any other book in this. So Kalyan has no criticism. They don't write about any other book, that this book is not good, that. And third thing Gandhiji said, which he didn't agree, which is good. Gandhiji said, your Kalyan has all this Bhagwan picture and very, very decorated, all Shrangar. Gandhiji was a little different personality. He said all this Shrangar, and there's a lot of Shrangar. Common person, I mean, you're writing for common people. Common people don't have clothes to wear, and then you're putting all the Shrangar. Gandhiji has a logic too. It was his logic, right? But Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji didn't agree to that. And he said, Bapu, the murti which are sold in the shop, they cannot have Shangar of murti, right? So common people can buy the murti, but he cannot do the Shangar of murti. But at least this picture they can put at home. And look at this these days. Every shop, go to Juggi Jopadi, you will see a picture of Bhagwan Ram with all decorated. Hanumanji, Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesha. It is all Hanuman Prasad Poddar. So good that he didn't agree to that Gandhiji's demand. Otherwise, we'll see all this ordinary picture of Bhagwan. Kya picture hai? Dekhiye aap, go to any shop in India, chota like cycle wala. There is a Hanumanji's picture, the Ramji's picture, beautifully decorated, Lakshmi ji, Saraswati ji. So that was Hanuman Prasad Poddar. So we owe to, of course, Valmiki ji, Tulsidas ji, but Hanuman Prasad Poddar ji and Geeta Press Gorakhpur. That's what I wanted to do. And the last will complete the Mahatma part today. I mean, we can go on and on. Last, my association with Ramcharitmanas. And I remember when we were a little kid, my mother used to read this every day. And she, by the time she passed away, she was 90. Last year she passed away, almost 1 year ago. She completed 108 times complete end-to-end Ramayana, 108 times. And it takes, if you read at least every 1 hour every day, it takes months to complete that. So she has completed Ramayana end-to-end 108 times. And we used to wonder, what is she reading? So as a kid, we used to go and read what is in her book, what is there. And then we started getting the interest in that. And my parents, they used to take us to the Ram Katha, wherever happened. Morari Bapu, we heard Ram Kinkar Upadhyay ji. I still remember when I was 10-year-old, Ram Kinkar Upadhyay was one of the scholar of Manas. He got like Padma Shri and all that just for about Manas. So we got the opportunity in very early childhood to see those kind of people. And so that was, we started reading Ramayana and enjoying, and then it is journey. So that's what, like, uh, I mean, we Mahatma, we can talk more about that, but now few minutes, yeah, we have few minutes. So few minutes about the word Ram. Right now we'll go into detail, but look at that. Look at the reach this word has, the bandwidth, right? Now, even in America, even there are people, their kids are born and America, they'll name them Ram. And in Bharat, the middle name Ram, first name Ram, last name Ram, anywhere you put Ram, it's a wild card. Even you are saying Ram Ram ji, Namaskar, you say Ram Ram ji. अगर काम अच्छा नहीं हुआ, अरे राम. काम अच्छा कर, oh Ram. When you need help, hey Ram. One day we have in my office, one of our colleague in Pittsburgh, his name is Ram, and he supports like some finance people, right? So one day our treasury manager, she wrote email to because she wanted help. He said, "Hey Ram, can you come and help me?" So hey Ram, she read, "Hey Ram, come in." So I went to her and I took the picture of Rajghat. On Google Internet. I showed her, look at that, what he wrote is here. He said, "Oh wow," it was in Hindi, but I said, "Look at that." He said, "In Bharat, even people when they need help say, 'Hey Ram,' and help comes." So here Ram is here. I told Ram, go and help her, right? And see, that is right. So hey Ram. So in in fact, when Tulsidasi were born, they say that first word he said Ram. So that's why his name was Ram Mula. And anyway, that got inspired. When Gandhiji left, his last word was Ram. So Ram is like everywhere in Bharat. That is Ram. And so we are so lucky to go through this Ramayana. I mean, I have gone many times, but every time you go through this, we enjoy that character. Even the Thelawala in Bharat, they will also say Ram. Even Mukesh Ambani goes to Ayodhya, they'll say Ram. Ram is for everyone. So, and that's the character we are rooting, right? I remember when there was I was in Lucknow long time back, near Ayodhya. So I had a motorcycle. One day it broke, and I went to the repair shop. Shakir, the young guy. I said, "Shakir, you have to fix it." He says, "भाई साहब, आज cannot do that." क्यों? आज राम जन्म होने वाला है. रामायण was coming on TV. Shakir says, "भाई साहब, आज तो दुकान बंद हो जाएगी. आज राम जन्म होने वाला है." That is Ram. It's beyond boundaries, beyond everything. It is a character which is, you right. Swami Tattvidanand is he's our acharya. One time we asked him to give a message for VHPA, and he gave a message about Ramayana. Right, we had a theme Ramayana, and very nice message. He said, "As you cannot imagine ocean without fishes or the animals, right? The fish, ocean cannot survive without fishes, or the ocean will die." So same thing, Bharati Sanskriti, Bharati Itihas cannot survive without Ram. It's the consciousness of Bharati Sanskriti. So Ram is the consciousness. Ram is not just a person or a book or some stories. It's a consciousness of that. And we carry that consciousness to America. It's not in Bharat, right? So yeah, so that's why. So we'll talk about Ram as we move forward. It's like a wild card. So there is a definition. Ramante yogino asmin iti Rama. the yogis, they revel in that character. That is Ram. And we'll do a few minutes of Ram Dhyan. Kane Kane Ramante Iti Ram. The who's everyone is Ram, right? So yeah, we'll as we move forward, we'll see how, and we'll bring more and more of this side. So it's 9:50. What we'll do, there is a Ram Nam chant. We'll chant a little bit. There's Ram Nam. And then I have a Dhyan Paddhati, which is Ram Nam Dhyan. I do that too. We'll do that because it is very important when we listen to the Katha to sink the Katha in. We need to go to a state where Katha can sink into our consciousness. So we are not just like for the stories here and there, but we are here to touch our consciousness and take the message. And the message is here, like as I said, Naradji told Valmiki ji, the Katha you are going to listen, it provides what he has used. It's a tool for dharma, artha, kam, moksha. This katha, Ramayana, it's a sadhan. The word he has used, sadhan, for dharma, artha, kam, moksha. And of course, I mean, if you look at dharma, artha, kam, moksha, there are various ways people explain, but in a simple term, as I said, dharma is nothing but the right choice. And the best example, dharma is truth. If you tell someone make a right choice, there is no choice. When truth is truth, there is no choice in that. That's right. So we have to, for definition, we have to say dharma is right choice, but there's no choice. When there is a choice, then there is a problem. So satya has no choice. You cannot say, oh, let me say satya or not. No, satya is satya. So that is dharma, where it is exactly as it is. And then they're saying Ramayana is a sadhan for dharma, artha, kam, moksha. That's what Naradji told Valmiki ji. Arth and kam, they are also sadhan, right? They are saying, but as long as we have legitimate arth and kam, legitimate, they are sadhan. If they are illegitimate, then there is a problem. Like we know what happens, right? And then moksha is like, so when these sadhana are used, most the root word of moksha is much. Much means the freedom, the mukti. Mukti from what? Mukti from the limitation I feel myself. I feel I am a limited being. You are not a limited being. You are Ram yourself. Hamara the Shastra says that. There is a Vedanta Ramayana also. Some Vedantis also they said, we have to write. So there is a Ramayana because Vedanti people have their own way of looking at things. So Ram fits into that also. Because Ram is epitome of Vedanta also. It's not just Ram is just for Bhakt or Bhajan. No, Ram is. So that's so there is a Vedanta Ramayana. So because it's Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha. Moksha means much the freedom. So Ramayana is a Ram Katha is a sadhan for that too. And we'll see when we move forward each character. Yeah, so we have a few more minutes. So what we'll do before before we end, you can repeat after me. And I'll display on screen here. So, but before I'll just read last. So the best that I'll say Falshruti, I said in the beginning, which is Falshruti means what happens when you read something that. So Valmiki ji didn't say much. Artha Dharma, Artha Kam, Moksha, high level. But look at what Tulsidas ji has brought to the common man's level. Last Doha of Uttarkand. And he says, Mosam deenan deen hit, Tuma saman raghubir, As vichar raghuvansh mani, Bharavo vishambhavir, Haro vishambhavir. He's saying that I am the deen, I don't know anything. You are deen there. You are the one who can help the deen. And for what, Bhagwan? And he says, As vichar raghuvansh think like that I am your devotee. Like same thing Arjun said, Shishyaste ham, Shadibam tam prapanna, Haro visham bhavabhir. This duality, this complex world, these difficulties in the world, the confusion in the world, the delusion in the world, you can only remove that. I don't have capacity to do that. And that is Falshruti. So when we read Tulsidas ji at the end, he says, we'll read when we go to Tulsidas ji. ऐसे मौसम दीन नदीन है तो तुम समान रघुवीर अस विचार रघुवंश मणि हरम विषम भववीर. This vishamata, this difficulty, this suffering, bhav, bhir. Bhav means this, the world, material world. And bhir means it is bhankar also, like the terrible, or there is a fear. Though bhir can be used both way. So the fear I have that I'm not able to handle this, you are the only one who can guide it. And that's what the same thing Valmiki ji said, dharma, artha, kam, moksha. Look at what same thing Tulsidas ji is saying, but he has brought to a common man. Common man, if you take dharma, artha, kam, moksha, you won't get it. A jhopdi wala or like in India, but you say Mausamadi Nadi. This is a very popular doha. Like people, when you go to mandir and all this Bharat, they'll just chant this. So that is what Phalashruti, that's what we get from our mind. So let's we have a few minutes. So I'll share my screen. We'll chant that and then do a little Ram Nam Dhyan. And again, we don't do dhyan. That whole definition of doing meditation is wrong. We create an environment and then dhyan happens. Right. So we'll just quickly do that. Let me share my screen. You can repeat after me and just follow. Oh, you can see my screen? You read it? To Chidubhai? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you can repeat after me. Ram Ram Jaya Sita Ram. Ram
Jai
Ram Jaya
Sitaram.
Sita Ram. Ram Ram Jaya Raja Ram. Ram
Ram
Ram Jaya
Jaya
Raja
Raja
Ram.
Ram.
शब्द ब्रह्म परात्पर राम. शब्द
शब्द
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म
परात्पर
परात्पर
राम.
राम.
Ram.
कालात्मक परमेश्वर राम. कालात्मक
Kalatmak
कालात्मक
परमेश्वर राम.
परमेश्वर
Parameshwaram.
राम.
कौशल्या सुखवर्धन राम. कौशल्या
कौसल्या
Kausalya
सुखवर्धन
सुखवर्धन
राम.
राम.
Sukhvardhanam.
श्रीमत दशरथ नंदन राम. श्रीमत
श्रीमद
Srimad
दशरथ
दशरथ
नंदन
नंदन
Dasharathanandana
राम.
Ram.
शबरी दत्त फलाशन राम. शबरी
शबरी
Shabari
दत्त
दत्त
फलाशन
फलाशन
राम.
राम.
Ram.
हनुमत सेवित निज पद राम. हनुमत
हनुमत
Hanumat
सेवित
सेवित
निज
निज
पद
Sevita
पद
राम.
राम.
Ram.
समस्त लोकोद्धारक राम. समस्त
समस्त लोक
लोकोद्धारक
उद्धारक
राम.
राम.
धर्म स्थापन तत्पर राम.
धर्म
धर्म स्थापन
स्थापन
तत्पर
तत्पर
राम.
राम.
राम राम जय सीता राम. राम
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 जय
जय
राजा
सीता
राम.
राम.
तो सच्चे राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय
जय
बोलो
बोलो
हनुमान.
हनुमान.
Manaki.
So we have 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, what we'll do, sit straight. And it is, so the problem is all our mind goes through the senses to the outside world. So what we do in the beginning, we'll just 30 second, 1 minute, we'll do the Panchatattva Dhyan. And Panchatattva Dhyan means bringing the mind from outside world to inside. And the whole teaching, all our Shastra, and including Ramayana, everything is for Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta means Man Shuddhi. Man means Man, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. We call it Antahkaran in Vedantic term, basically Man Shuddhi. So Man Shuddhi will happen when we stop getting the feed from outside world, because the more feed we get from outside world, more Man become. Ashuddha means both fearful Man or the weak Man or impure Man. Same, all are same. But we remove that impurity and put Ram in that Man. And then in that state, we get into Dhyan. That is Ram Nam Dhyan. So let's do that. So just keep the focus on the tip of the nostril and bring image of Prithvi Tattva. Prithvi means tree, fountain. This is all. For us it is Vasudha, Mata. So bring image of Prithvi Tattva or Masudha Mata in mind. Keep the focus on the tip of the nostril. The second element is Jal. So bring image of, keep the focus on the tip of the tongue. Second is the Indriya is tongue and Jal is the Tattva. And bring image of Jal Tattva. We can bring image of river or fountain. In the mind, keep the focus on the tip of the tongue. Now shift focus to the eyes and bring image of Agni Tattva. the third element is Agni. Surya Bhagwan is the best. In fact, we are reading Ramayana, Surya Bhagwan. Bhagwan represents Surya, right? So Surya Bhagwan, bring image of Surya Bhagwan in mind and keep the focus on the eyes. The next element is Vayu. Vayu we cannot see, we cannot touch, we can feel Vayu on the skin. So keep the focus on the skin and feel the Vayu Tattva. Now shift focus to the ear, and the ear, through ear we feel the space, which is Akash, but we cannot see the Akash, we don't know Akash, only thing sound travels in Akash. That's why keep the focus on ear and try to hear the sound. Sound means feel the space. So by doing this, all these senses quiet down. When these senses quiet down, mind automatically quiets. And then slowly mind will lose all the thoughts are gone away. And this time, think that I am not these five senses, I am not the five elements, not even the mind, I am that Sakshi Chaitanya. And now just take a breath with two Ram Ram, Ram Ram. Inhale with two Ram Ram, exhale with two Ram Ram. Now just think that Sakshi Chaitanya, as our Shastra Tattvamasi, I am that Ram. I am is my consciousness is Ram. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamādaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Ram Lakshman Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. So we'll continue next week. Next week we'll try to enter into Bal Kand, but we'll see. As I said, there's no Kand chapter business here. We'll do the journey together, right? So keep Bhagwan Ram in the mind and continue to do the work, right?
Breathe in, breathe in.
We'll see you next week, right? Thank you. Thanks for joining.
you.
Yeah.
Jai Shri Ram.
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 धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद thank you जी.
Okay, good night everyone.
Yeah.
Good night.
Shubharatri, Shubharatri,
I'll
Shubharatri,
stay for a few
Shubharatri.
minutes. If anybody has a question, I'll stay for a few minutes. But yeah, but otherwise we'll see you next week. Yeah.
करो का?
I have a question.
Ravi ji, namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Abhayji.
Namaste, Abhayji. So good to see you.
जी 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 बिल्कुल.
Very nice.
सत्संग हो गया.
हाँ,
जी.
होने वाला है 12 वीक तक.
असली सत्संग.
Right.
Sanjay ji, I have a question. Do you plan to share some slides on your main points at some point in time? Or
So
that's
क्या उसमें टाइम बहुत चला जाता है, and
Right.
because we are, I mean, it's like 12 weeks is nothing for Ramayana, but still we'll try to cover as much as the highlights, क्योंकि वो स्लाइड वगैरह में बहुत उसमें then it just goes, कथा का आनंद चला जाता है. So
I agree with you.
so we are doing in the katha format, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Will there be any homework?
उम्र के राम
Ram Ram.
राम
Seriously?
राम जय सीता राम 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 जय जय राजा राम. Yeah. So we'll next week we'll cover why Valmiki ji wrote थोड़ा detail में, and then we'll do
Understand.
भगवान राम की बाल लीला. Yeah.
No, I like this expression about the difference between both Ramayans, because when I was reading the Valmiki Ramayana, there's a lot of things which are not there.
Yeah.
And I wondered how can we see a difference? Even the concept of Lakshman Rekha is not there in Valmiki
हाँ
Ramayana.
वो नहीं, right.
So Sabri का भी ऐसा ही है. So I don't think why there is so much deviation. But you are right, and I happen to have read.
Oh yeah, Tulsidas ji. See, look at that, when in what condition he is writing things.
Yeah, and I
So he-
happen to have also read a guide book
Yeah, yeah,
It's very different. It's
Very
very
different.
dry actually.
Yeah.
And it's very different also.
yeah, exactly.
So you're right there. I mean, so it's a very
When you're doing for Lok Sangra, you have to change
Yes.
things. Like Gandhiji के बारे में बड़ा classic है. We can criticize Gandhiji a lot of people for reasons, but
Mhm.
leaving the dress, he was very smart. I
Yes.
mean, leaving that, I mean, it's a very conscious decision, but he wanted कि if I had to be with people, I had to do something which people will accept me. And now there is the history. One day he decided I don't want to this dress. I'll just have the dhoti. And it changed the entire scene. So for Lok
Like-
Sangra,
And again, in the Gandhi film also, there is a screenplay where he sees a woman without sari and it
Yeah.
throws away his loincloth in the river.
yeah.
So that was very good.
So that's the idea. So Lok Sangra के लिए कोई लोग सब काम छोड़ के होम सेंटर बना देते हैं.
Yeah, and script and screenplay. Yeah, that was beautiful. Very well, Sanjay ji. बहुत. Your
Yeah,
parables I love.
Yeah. yeah.
अब भाई कैसे हो?
बढ़िया बढ़िया।
आप सेंटर पे लगते हैं, सेंटर पे वही है क्या?
नहीं, सेंटर पे नहीं है आज।
आपको जगह
सब्जेक्ट कथा सुननी थी।
अच्छा, आपका घर नहीं है ये?
नहीं तो घर पे
घर
ही
ही
है.
है हमारा, घर ही है।
घर है।
ये दूसरा उसका वो है पोजीशन,
अच्छा, वंडरफुल,
विंडो वाली है, विंडो वाली।
अच्छा लगा.
Yeah.
Good to see Chittaranjan bhai also, long time.
हम्म।
And after Naveen bhai.
या नवीन भाई से तो बहुत दिन हो गए मिले हुए।
Yeah, I know.
आप आते थे हर साल पिट्सबर्ग में इधर से, तब
But
मिलते थे।
या
अभी-
पहले तो
अभी-
हर साल आते थे।
अभी
हाँ,
सेंट लुइस में हम सब मिलेंगे.
But looks like Naveen bhai and Chittaranjan bhai are not aged in last 10 years. They are just what they were before.
Yeah,
So,
they'll meet ये लोग सेंट लुइस में मिलेंगे सब.
वो तो मिलेंगे.
रियूनियन होएगा।
Yeah.
चित्तू जी तो सात्विक खाना खाते हैं, पता नहीं क्या क्या खाते हैं, वो तो कभी एज ही नहीं होंगे। चिरंजीवी।
हाँ, नाम चित्तरंजन रहेगा भाई.
नहीं, छोटे मुंह बड़ी बात। मैं एज के लिए नहीं, उत्साह के लिए ये कर रहा हूँ.
और दूसरों के उत्साह के लिए कर रहे हैं वो, अपने उत्साह के लिए लोग संग्रह कर रहे हैं वो.
आप उत्साह ये कर रहे हैं कि आपके इसकी फलश्रुति है, नॉट एजिंग, इस फलश्रुति.
Exactly right, yeah.
बहुत बढ़िया. चलो
ठीक है.
ठीक है, जय भाई.
We'll see. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट वीक.
चलो, नमस्ते।
या राम है।
जय श्री राम.
जय श्री राम.
Yeah.